As a man, you've probably been told the same story over and over again. If you want her, chase her. Text her first. Compliment her constantly. Be the nice guy. Do whatever it takes to prove you're good enough. And where does that usually lead? Nowhere. Let's cut through the noise. Chasing doesn't earn you respect or desire. It drains your energy. It signals neediness. It puts her on a pedestal and puts you in the role of the one always trying to earn her attention. That's not power, that's desperation dressed up as effort. Here's the truth. Women are wired to be drawn to strong men. Not physically strong alone, but emotionally and mentally unshakable. Men who walk in their purpose, men who don't flinch under pressure, men who lead with calm, quiet confidence, not insecurity masked by fake charm. This isn't about running game. It's not about tricking women or acting cold just to get a reaction. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase because his presence is already powerful, the kind of man who doesn't beg for love because he's already full. Women feel that energy. They recognize when a man knows who he is, and they respond to it naturally. In this guide, you're going to learn how to tap into that energy. You'll discover how to flip the script and gain real influence over women by owning your masculine power, without ever chasing, pleading, or lowering your standards. Let's break it down, step by step, and put the power back where it belongs, with you. 1. Why women leave men on read, and what it really means. As a man, nothing feels worse than sending a message to a woman you like, only to get that dreaded seen notification with zero response. It stings, doesn't it? You start overthinking. Did I say something wrong? Did I bore her? Is she talking to someone better? That silence feels like a slap in the face, like she's silently saying you're not worth a reply. Here's the raw truth. When a woman leaves you unread, it's not always about you. It's about how she perceives your value. In many cases, it's her way of subtly testing where you stand in her world. Women are naturally drawn to strong men who have options, confidence, and purpose. If she senses that you're overly invested, needy, or waiting for her attention like it's oxygen, she feels she has the upper hand. And when she feels like she's already won your attention with zero effort, she doesn't feel the need to respond quickly, if at all. The hidden psychology behind it. Women often use silence as a way to gauge a man's emotional strength. Think about it. If you crumble, start double texting, or ask why she hasn't replied. You've just handed her all the power. You've told her without words that her time and attention matter more than your own. And guess what? That's the fastest way to lose her respect. On the flip side, men who don't react to being left on read stand out. When you don't chase or beg for attention, you're sending a clear message. I value myself. I've got a life to live with or without your reply. That kind of confidence hits different. It tells her that you're not like the average guy blowing up her phone, and that makes you magnetic. Why chasing doesn't work. The moment you start chasing a woman who's ignoring you, you're confirming her belief that she's the prize, and you're just lucky to be in her inbox. Chasing flips the dynamic and puts her in control. And let's be real, women rarely want the guy they can walk all over. Instead of chasing, you need to flip the script. When she leaves you on read, don't react. Match her energy by focusing on yourself. Hit the gym, level up your money game, build your skills, and live like your life is already full. When she sees that you're not sitting around waiting on her text, she'll start to wonder, why isn't he all over me like every other guy? That curiosity is where your power begins. The bottom line. Being left unread only means something if you let it. The moment you stop taking it personally, you regain control. Women respect men who respect themselves first. The man who doesn't flinch when ignored is the man she can't stop thinking about. 2. The power of not needing her. Why the man who doesn't chase always wins. Let's paint a simple scene. You walk into a party. On one side of the room, there's a guy surrounded by people. He's not loud. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's just there, relaxed, sipping his drink, talking when he feels like it. He's not chasing attention, but people seem to naturally be drawn to him, even the women. Now look across the room. There's another guy, nervous energy, hovering around women like he's hoping for someone to notice him, laughing too hard, asking too many questions, looking desperate for connection. Every move he makes screams one thing: please pay attention to me. Now ask yourself, which man do women gravitate toward? Easy. It's the guy who doesn't need them. That's the power of not needing her. It's not arrogance. It's not pretending. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows his value, with or without a woman's attention. You see, women are wired to be drawn to strength, emotional strength, mental strength, social strength. And when you're chasing, begging, over-investing, or trying too hard to impress, what you're showing her is weakness. You're saying, my self-worth depends on your approval. That's the energy that repels. Now let's go back to the guy at the party who's surrounded by people. Why does he stand out? Because he's already complete. He's enjoying the moment. He's not calculating how to make people like him. He's not overthinking his every word. He's not trying to prove anything. That kind of relaxed energy is power. It's rare, and that's why people, especially women, gravitate toward him. When you live like that, women notice, even if they don't admit it. Your energy says, I like you, but I don't need you. That's attractive. That's masculine. That's what makes her chase you, even if she doesn't understand why. But here's the secret. This isn't just about how you act at a party. It's a mindset you bring into every interaction with women. When you carry yourself like a man who already has purpose, friends, goals, and happiness, you become the guy in the room that women want to talk to. Not because you're begging for it, but because you don't need it. So what's the takeaway? Stop trying to impress women. Start impressing yourself. Get your life together. Build your body. Build your mind. Build your money. Build your confidence. And then walk into every room like you've got nothing to prove because you don't. That's the man who wins. The man who never chases. The man who attracts everything by needing nothing. 3. I like you, but don't need you. The energy that changes everything. Let me tell you a true story about a guy I know. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus met this woman at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was stunning, beautiful, confident, the kind of woman most guys would trip over themselves to impress. And sure enough, every guy there was either staring at her, trying to talk to her, or making some slick comment to catch her attention. Marcus? He didn't play that game. He noticed her, sure. He thought she was attractive. But he didn't chase her. He didn't hover. He didn't overdo anything. He just enjoyed the day. He talked to his boys, joked around with people, and kept it light. At one point, he and the woman ended up next to each other by the drinks. She smiled and made a little comment. He smiled back, responded casually, and kept it moving. No pressure, no thirst. Now here's where it gets interesting. Later that evening, guess who came looking for Marcus? That same woman. Why? Because his energy said something none of the other guys' energy did. I like you, but I don't need you. That energy is rare, and women feel it immediately. When you approach women with that vibe, it changes the entire dynamic. You're not desperate. You're not trying to win her over. You're not pushing for something to happen. Instead, you're present, open, but detached. That's what makes you different. Think about it. How do most guys behave when they're into a woman? They overthink every message, get clingy fast, and start acting like the woman is the prize that they have to win. That pressure is a turnoff. It screams, you complete me. But here's the thing, you're already complete. You don't need a woman to make your life feel whole. You've got your own goals, your own path, your own peace. So when you say, I like you, but I don't need you, you're not being cold. You're being real. You're saying, you'd be a great addition to my life, but not a requirement. And that's the energy that flips the game. Women respect a man who's centered, a man who can walk away, a man who won't crumble if she loses interest. Why? Because that kind of man is grounded. He's not reaching up to get her. He's walking beside her or walking away. No begging, no convincing, just truth. So what can you learn from Marcus? Simple. Be that man. The one who shows interest but never dependence. The one who gives a compliment, then walks away. The one who can enjoy a woman's presence, but still enjoys his own peace more. Because the moment a woman realizes you don't need her, that's when she starts to want you. 4. The man who doesn't react. Why staying calm wins her respect every time. Let me tell you about 2 guys I once saw in the same relationship mess, and how their reactions showed exactly why one kept his power and the other gave it away. First, there's Derek. He was dating a woman who liked to test him. She'd throw little jabs during arguments, bring up her exes when she got mad, and at times just go cold for no reason. But Derek, he stayed solid. If she raised her voice, he stayed calm. If she said something slick, he looked her in the eye and said, "I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to talk like adults, I'm here. If not, I'll be over there." And then he'd actually walk away. No yelling, no drama, no chasing her down to explain himself. Now compare that to Ray, a guy who got in a similar situation. His girlfriend pulled away a little, acted cold for a few days, and Ray lost his mind. He texted nonstop. He called. He asked her if she was still into him, begged her to just talk to him, and even showed up at her job once just to clear the air. Guess who lost all her respect? It wasn't Derek. Because here's what most men don't realize. How you handle pressure tells her everything she needs to know about your strength. When a woman throws emotional chaos your way, whether it's silence, mood swings, or drama, she's watching your reaction. If you lose control, raise your voice, or chase her emotionally, she knows she's in charge. And the second she knows she controls how you feel, the power shift is complete. But when you stay calm, when you don't flinch, when you respond instead of react, you're showing her something powerful. You control your emotions, your frame, your energy. That's real masculinity. Staying cool doesn't mean being cold. It means you don't give away your power just because someone else is losing theirs. It means you set boundaries. It means you refuse to be pulled into games. And that calmness, it's magnetic. Because it tells her she can trust your presence even when things get tense. And guess what? When a woman realizes she can't shake you emotionally, she stops trying. She starts respecting you. She starts calming down too, because your peace becomes the anchor in the storm. So if a woman tries to test you, pull away, or stir drama, don't meet her at that level. Don't fall into the emotional trap. Be the eye of the storm. Because the man who stays calm in chaos, that's the man who always stays in control. 5. The man with real options. Why quiet confidence always speaks loudest. You've seen this guy before. He's not loud. He's not showing off. He's not dressed to impress. But when he walks into a room, people notice, especially women. Not because he's doing anything big, but because of how calm and grounded he is. His energy says one thing clearly: I'm good, with or without you. That's the man with real options. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't brag about the women in his life. He's not in your face about how many girls he could get. But the way he carries himself, that's what gives it away. He's cool, confident, focused on his own vibe, and women can feel it without him saying a word. Now picture this. A woman gives him attention. She smiles, throws a compliment, maybe even leans in a little closer. Most guys would jump at the chance, maybe even overplay it. But this guy? He gives her a respectful smile, maybe a comment back, and then he's back to his conversation, his drink, or his mission. No extra effort, no chasing, and that right there is the key, because he doesn't need her. When a man has options, real options, he's not desperate for any single one. He knows that if one woman loses interest, another will show up. He's not trying to impress. He's not in competition. He's already won in his own life. Women are incredibly tuned into this energy. They can feel when you're comfortable in your own skin, when you're not trying too hard, when you're not acting thirsty, even if they're attractive. That calm, detached confidence is rare, and that's what makes it magnetic. Most guys try to fake it. They say things like, "I've got options," or "I don't chase women." But their actions say the opposite. They get nervous when she pulls away. They start blowing up her phone when she doesn't reply. They let her disrespect slide because they don't want to lose her. That's not strength. That's fear. Real strength is knowing you don't have to prove anything. Real options mean you're not afraid to walk away. And when you live like that, when your time is valuable, your purpose is solid, and your confidence is real, she feels it without you saying a thing. So if you want to be the man women respect and desire, stop trying to be impressive. Just be impressive. Build a life you're proud of. Talk to women, yes, but never from a place of need. Because the guy who's already fulfilled isn't chasing anything. He lets the right people find their way to him, and that's exactly why they do. 6. Be about your purpose, not just her inbox. Let's be honest, man. You've probably been the guy who always texts first. The one checking your phone every few minutes, wondering if she replied. The one trying to keep the conversation going, even when she's giving short, dry responses. You tell yourself you're just being consistent, or that women like effort. But deep down, you feel it. She's pulling back, and you're pushing harder. And here's what you need to hear. Women don't fall for the man who's always available. They fall for the man who's too focused to chase. Think about this. There's a man out there right now who hasn't texted her in days. Not because he's playing games, but because he's busy. He's locked in on his goals. He's building something. Maybe it's his business, his body, his mindset, or his mission in life. He doesn't wake up and wonder, did she text me back? He wakes up thinking, how do I win today? And guess what? That's the man she's thinking about. That's the guy who gets under her skin. Why? Because he's not constantly offering himself up. He's not acting like she's the center of his world. His time is limited. His energy is earned, and that makes him valuable. Now let's flip it. The man who always texts first, who drops everything to respond instantly, who keeps the conversation alive even when she's barely trying. She knows exactly what he's doing, and she's not impressed. Because when you're always available, you're telling her, you matter more than my purpose. My time isn't in demand. You're the most exciting thing I've got going on. And that's not attractive, that's pressure. That's neediness. That's chase energy. And chase energy always loses. Listen, it's not about ignoring her. It's not about being cold. It's about having something more important than her attention to wake up for every day. It's about being the man who doesn't sit around waiting for love to show up, but builds his life to the point where love becomes a bonus, not the mission. If you want to be powerful in her eyes, then be a man with a mission. Have something that drives you. Something that gets you up early and keeps you up late. That's what separates the ones she flirts with from the ones she respects. You don't have to cut her off. You don't have to ignore her. But you do have to stop acting like your day revolves around her reply. Because when a woman senses that you're not chasing her, because you're already chasing greatness, she leans in. She watches. She wonders what's so important in your life that she's not your top priority, and that's when the power shifts, right back to you. 7. The man who owns the room. Without trying, you've seen him. Maybe at a party, at the gym, in a meeting, or just walking into a restaurant. He's not the loudest guy. He's not dressed in something crazy. He's not showing off. And yet, every head turns when he walks in. He doesn't even try to be noticed. But he is. That's presence. That's quiet confidence. That's real power. And most men don't have it. But here's the truth. You can. And it has nothing to do with money, looks, or status. It's about how you carry yourself. See, the man who owns the room without trying is the man who's comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't need approval. He doesn't need attention. He doesn't need anyone to validate who he is. He just is. He's not overcompensating. He's not trying to be something he's not. He doesn't perform. He doesn't force. He just stands there, solid, grounded, present. And because he's centered, people naturally gravitate toward him. Now contrast that with the guy who's trying too hard, the one who's always making noise, trying to be funny, flexing, interrupting, or acting bigger than he really is. That guy might get a few laughs, but he doesn't get real respect. Because when you try to be seen, you're telling the room you're not used to being noticed. But the man who truly owns himself, he doesn't chase attention, it follows him. So what creates that kind of presence? Self-respect. You walk like your time and energy matter. Stillness. You're not fidgeting, overreacting, or seeking. Awareness. You read the room, you listen more than you speak. Control. You're emotionally steady, nothing shakes you. Purpose. You're not just out to be liked, you're out to live. And when you walk into any space with that calm, grounded energy, women feel it, instantly. They may not even understand why, but they sense that you're different. Not just another guy trying to impress, you're the man who doesn't need to say a lot, because your presence already said enough. The best part? You don't fake this, you build it. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you stay grounded instead of reacting, every time you put in work when no one's watching, you're stacking confidence. And that confidence becomes the quiet force that fills every room you step into. So don't chase the spotlight. Don't perform. Just show up like a man who knows exactly who he is. Because when you walk in like you belong, the room makes space for you. Brother, listen up. This world will lie to you. It'll tell you to chase, to beg, to bend over backwards just to keep a woman's attention. It'll tell you that being nice, available, and always texting first is the way to win. It's not. The truth is simple. You don't win by chasing. You win by becoming a man who leads, who builds, who knows his worth without needing anyone's approval. So choose wisely. Choose discipline over desperation. Choose purpose over pretty faces. Choose strength over neediness. You don't need to impress every woman. You need to become the kind of man who doesn't need to impress anyone to be respected. Stand tall. Stay focused. And don't let the noise of the modern dating world distract you from your power. Because when you know who you are, she either rises to your level or gets left behind. Your move.